don't have any real memories because I have a really bad memory, but I have just little like snapshots of memories.
The Celts believed the souls of those we have lost are held captive in some inferior being, in an animal, in a plant, in some inanimate object, and so are lost to us until that day when we happen to pass the tree or tame the object that is their prison. On that day, they tremble, they call us by name, and when we recognize their voice, the spell is broken. We have delivered them, they have overcome death and returned to share our life. And so it is with our own past. It is a labor in vain to attempt to recapture it. All the efforts of our intellect must prove futile. The past is hidden beyond the reach of intellect.
Who am I? How did I get here? Why do I even ask? Don't I know who I am? Why does no other creature ask these questions? Why are we so different? We know the edge of the universe better than we know ourselves. We are, as Walker Percy says, lost in the cosmos. Each of us is a mystery at the center of the world. Think about this. 1 million people died in the siege of Verdun. The dead were piled so high that soldiers used them for shelter. 10 months of hell, and then it was over. Neither side won. And yet, the survivors returned. For decades, they came back to visit, to reminisce, to look for the trenches and holes in which they huddled, to relive the worst days of their lives. Why?
My earliest memory is when I was 3 or 4 and my family went to San Marcos for a fair, and there was this amazing swimming pig who'd jump off a diving board and swim across this little pool.
My earliest memory is walking through the snow in New York, and I remember following my dad and stepping on each of his footprints.
My earliest memory is my 3rd birthday when I rode bikes around the neighborhood with my friend Jimmy with streamers on the backs of our bikes.
Marcel Proust examined memory in all its forms in his massive novel, In Search of Lost Time. He describes how, as an adult, his mother gave him a Madeleine. As he put the small cake to his mouth, his boyhood village came back to life, resurrected by the taste and a memory of eating the same treat as a child. The past, he wrote, still lives in us, has made us what we are, and remakes us every moment. We remember because that is how we know who we are, because that is how others come to know us.
This is a submarine that my dad made for me after I saw the movie Das Boat and got obsessed with submarines.
This is Teddy. He's the oldest and most wise of the stuffed animals. And this is Zoe, and he likes to tell bad jokes.
One of the things I got on my first trip overseas to France, the Eiffel Tower was my favorite place to see.
This is my special hat, and I've had it forever.
You know, most kids have imaginary friends when they're little. Well, I made a buddy in kindergarten when I had no one to play with on the playground. He's a good friend.
These two charts are all my relatives that I have dug up. Not literally.
When I found out I was pregnant with Kendall, I decided to make a teddy bear for her. So this was my grandmother's quilt off of her bed. And he used to be real snow white,
and it's really special to me because I got this after my dad died recently, like this past September. I got this when I was born. Actually, it was to my mom and I both when she was pregnant, or when she had me in the hospital, and it's from my dad. And I'm always gonna keep this. Because it was from him, and it's just something special that I can squeeze, and I think of him, you know, when I hold it.